Hello students, today we are going to learn Standard 9th Defense Studies Chapter 7 Paramilitary Forces. Students, you already learned 3 armed forces in the previous lessons, and you also know that the different functions of these armed forces. Now let us see what are the 3 armed forces. Now the 3 armed forces are the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. These forces protect the country from external threats by fighting wars when there is a need or whenever it is necessary. These forces are generally not committed during peacetime but are kept ready, trained, and equipped to fight a war at short notice if required. So, the 3 armed forces are not function when there is a peace. So, which forces will work when there is a peace? Clear? So, that forces is what? It is a paramilitary forces. Clear? Now, let us see what is paramilitary forces. Now, in times other than war, there is a constant need to have some armed forces for security of the international borders and to maintain internal tranquility and security of sensitive installations. Clear? So, why some other armed forces are required? For the security of international borders and to maintain internal violence and to secure the places wherever the sensitive equipments are installed. Now, the places in which the sensitive equipments are installed are such as the seaports, airports, railway stations, bridges, power station, then petroleum storage facilities, and the coastline. Now, coastline is the land near the sea. Clear? So, to meet this security, so what are that security? This security is in security given to the international border to maintain internal violence and to give security to the places by in which the sensitive equipments are installed. Understood? So, for that, the need of the nation has various paramilitary forces. So, why to meet these security needs, the nation has various paramilitary forces. So, these paramilitary forces are largely under the Ministry of Home Affairs, and also few will work under the Ministry of Defense. So, large forces of the paramilitary will work under the Ministry of Home Affairs, and few of the paramilitary will work under the Ministry of Defense. Clear? Now that means, so this paramilitary forces will work when there is a peacetime and also whenever there is a war. Clear? But the armed forces will work only when there is an external threat or war. Clear? Now we see the task of these paramilitary forces. The role of paramilitary forces are, the first one is maintain internal security of the nation. That means to maintain internal security. Nation's internal security is maintained by paramilitary forces. The next is assist the civil administration to maintain law and order whenever there is a requirement. So when we require the law and order, that is maintained by these paramilitary forces. Protect the nation's coastline. That means to protect the nation's land which is near the sea. Protect the international borders during peacetime. So international borders are protected during peacetime. Provide security to important roads. So during war, these paramilitary forces has to give secure to important road or give security to important roads, bridge and important places. Clear? And the forces under the Ministry of Home Affairs are termed as Central Armed Police Forces. So, whichever forces are under the Ministry of Home Affairs, that is termed as was Central Armed Police Forces. Now, these Central Armed Police Forces are the Border Security Force, Indo-Tibetan Border Police and Assam Rifles. So these Central Armed Police Force are the Border Security Force, Indo-Tibetan Border Police and Assam Rifles. And one more force is also there, that is the Coast Guard. Now this Coast Guard will function under the Indian Navy. Clear? Now the Border Security Force and the Indo-Tibetan Border Police and the Assam Rifles will work function under the Ministry of Home Affairs, but the Coast Guard will work under the Indian Navy. Clear? Now let us see one by one the forces which are under the Ministry of Home Affairs. That first one is Border Security Force. Now this Border Security Force came in 1965 under the Ministry of Home Affairs and it is headed by the Director General of Border Security Force. Now, what is the function of these Border Security Force? The main functions of the Border Security Force is to guard the Indian-Pakistan border and Indo-Bangladesh borders. So, the main functions of Border Security Force is to guard the or to protect the Indo-Pakistan borders and Indo-Bangladesh borders when during peacetime. Clear? Now what are the different roles of Border Security Force? Now the first one is during peace maintain integrity of the international border. So during peace maintain unity of the international border. Then second one is prevent smuggling, infiltration and illegal immigration. So smuggling, infiltration means a person or an individual secretly mix with a group of people to gather secret information from that group. So to protect or to prevent from that type of infiltration and illegal immigration, that means illegally crossing the border. Third one is assist the civil administration to maintain law and order when required. So help the civil administration to maintain law and order whenever the requirement is there. Prevent terrorist activities from across the border. So to prevent terrorist activities, also the functions of border security force. Now the next one is the Indo-Tibetan Border Police. Indo-Tibetan Border Police was raised on October 24, 1962. Now, the function of these force is to guard the Indo-Tibetan border along with India's northern Himalayan region. So, it will also protect the Indo-Tibetan border as well as the India's northern Himalayan region. Its function under the Ministry of Home Affairs and extending from the Karakoram mountain ranges in Ladakh to Himachal and Uttarakhand. So it function under Ministry of Home Affairs extending from the Karakoram mountain ranges in Ladakh to Himachal and Uttarakhand. So it will work or it will function from the Karakoram mountain ranges to the Himachal and Uttarakhand. And the role of Indo-Tibetan Border Police is, the first one is protect the international border and actual line of control. Guard the major Himalayan passes in its area of responsibility. Prevent criminal activities such as smuggling and illegal border crossing or infiltration. Now next is Assam Rifles. The Assam Rifles was raised as Kochar levy in 1835. It is the oldest paramilitary force in India. Now the name, how Assam Rifles came. Now the name came due to in the Second World War. In World War II, the paramilitary forces which will perform remarkably or very good performance. Due to that very good performance in the World War II, the name came, that is Assam Rifles. Understood? And the headquarters of this force is located in Shillong. Now the main role of Assam Rifles are, the first one is protect Indian northeast border. So to protect Indian northeast border, that is the function of what? Assam Rifles. Second, control the various tribal insurgencies in various northeastern states of the nation. That means to control the various protester or objectors or opposers. Clear? Whoever is opposing the about any of the things, any of the problems, so they will control that. Assist the civil administration to maintain law and order when required. To help northeastern states to maintain law and order. So that is the role of Assam Rifles. Now we see the next, that is the Coast Guard. Now this Coast Guard will work under the Indian Navy. Now the Indian Coast Guard was started in 1st Feb 1977 and it finally established on 18th August 1978. It operates under the Ministry of Defence. It is headed by a Director General. Now, the Indian Coast Guard protects India's maritime interests. So, the main function is to protect India's maritime interests and the active maritime law with a control over the territorial waters of India. Clear? Including its contiguous zone and exclusive economic zone. Now this contiguous zone and exclusive economic zone is what? The baseline, that is baseline Contiguous zone means what? Baseline, and it will extend from baseline to a maximum of 2 million square kilometer. Clear? And that is controlled by or protected by what? With cooperation with the Department of Fisheries, the Indian Navy, and the Department of Revenue, that we can also say that the Department of Customs, and the Central Armed Police Force, and the state arm, that is the state police forces. So the Coast Guard is what it is, it will guard the what it is called the maritime interest and the maritime law. Clear? With what? A contiguous zone, including with the contiguous zone and exclusive economic zone, that is from baseline to, it will extend from baseline to maximum of 2 million square kilometer. Now this Coast Guard will guard the places with or in coordination or cooperation with the Indian Navy, the Department of Fisheries, the Department of Revenue, and the central and state police forces. Now, the role of Coast Guard. Caught the 2 million square kilometers of the exclusive economic zone in the seas along the nation's coastline. So, these forces will, Coast Guard will guard the 2 million kilometers of the land in, of the exclusive economic zone in the seas, and also the land near the seas. Prevent smuggling and piracy. So prevent smuggling and also from stealing the ship. Protect Indian fishermen and help them. Protect the marine environment. Protect surface and subsurface natural resources. So to protect surface natural resources and the resources uh, which are there, that is the layer just below the surface. So to protect surface resources and the layer just below the surface natural resources. Collect marine scientific data for research purposes. So, from these, whatever we saw just now in the slide, from that we know that the three armed forces will work or function only when there is a war or external threat. But these paramilitary forces will function when there is a peace time and also during the war to give security to the important places such as roads, bridges, and important places like religious places. Clear? So from this we are finished this chapter, that is paramilitary forces. Now, so thank you student.